she thought she'd finally found the one.
She could see a future with him.
Everybody in the family loved him.
She was looking forward to having a better life.
Instead, it all came to a tragic end.
She was face down in the bathtub.
She was cold to the touch.
I said, oh, Lord, have mercy, Jesus.
The police try to make sense of it all.
It looked like an accident.
Or possibly an overdose.
Or was it something else?
The rumors started flowing.
Called me a murderer.
You and her got into it.
You think you get the message?
But when the truth is finally revealed, it will take everyone by surprise.
When you say grabbed her by her neck, how did he do that?
He had a common scheme or plan, a similar MO.
We was dancing with the devil and didn't even realize.
December 5th, 2018. It's after midnight in Barnville, South Carolina, a tiny southern town of less than 2,000.
It's very quiet, it's quaint. Everyone knows everyone.
But it's basically like, you grow up with everybody, but overall, it's a good little town.
You can't go into the grocery store without having a conversation with your neighbor, and they ask how your mom, your family is. It's just a community place.
And after tonight, the community will have plenty to talk about. It's about 3:30 in the morning when something wakes John Williams from a sound sleep.
Mr. Williams woke up to a very strong smell of smoke.
What the? But he couldn't tell if the flames were coming from his trailer or a neighbor's.
And so he rushed outside to look and see.
Once outside the trailer, he quickly locates the source of the flames.
The fire had started from the underpinning of the house. He immediately calls 911 for assistance.
911, do you need police, fire, or EMS?
I need a fire department. My trailer's on fire, man. Oh, God.
The atmosphere was toxic, very chaotic, scary.
You got somebody on the way?
Then, with firefighters on the way, he runs back into the burning trailer.
His daughter and granddaughter are still inside.
He runs in the house to make sure everybody's getting out safe.
He finds his daughter asleep on the couch.
Hey, wake up. The house is on fire.
John told her, it's time to go, let's move out.
Then he heads to the back bedroom to wake his granddaughter, 27-year-old Anelia Garvin.
John walked to his granddaughter's bedroom, and it was locked.
Anelia! You gotta get out! Anelia!
He knocked on the door, and he heard no answer.
You gotta get out!
Anelia Garvin and her grandfather had always been close.
Anelia lost her father when she was 10 years old.
He got thrown off a motorcycle, and he died at the hospital. And basically, it was me and my father and my mother that raised her.
And it wasn't always easy.
She was a handful. She always kept me on my toes.
And even as an adult, Anelia's wild streak was always present.
Anelia loved to party, loved to have fun, get out with her friends.
She was young, she loved life.
But she also had a serious side.
She was a steady worker. She had just recently started at the new truck stop and was always reliable, always made her own money.
She was a hard-working young lady. She wanted so much more out of life.
And after her grandmother died, Anelia moved in with her grandfather to help him get by.
Oh, baby girl. It's so nice having you around.
Him and her, they went on half with the paying the rent and light bills.
She loved her grandfather, and she took it upon herself to step in and help and be there for her grandfather.
although she would still slip off to have fun.
Thank you.
She did like to party.
And it was at a local club that she met Jarvis Jenkins.
Hey.
Is that all you got? You better have a better line than that.
I don't play those kind of games.
She kind of fell for his humble ways.
She brought him around to the family and introduced him and everything. And he seemed to be a cool young man.
Jarvis also got along with Anelia's grandfather.
What's going on?
Him and my father used to go fishing and everything. All my family liked him.
And before long, it looked like Anelia had finally found the one.
You get a point in life where you want that special someone, and she could possibly see a future with him.
Good time today.
But now, her trailer is on fire, and Anelia is locked in her room.
Anelia! You gotta get out of the house on fire!
He knocked on her door, didn't get an answer.
He couldn't get in because you locked the room from the inside.
There was only one thing left to do.
He ends up kicking the door in.
He didn't see her.
Fearing time is running out, Anelia's grandfather runs through the bedroom to the attached bath.
Get some help!
This is where he found his granddaughter.
Get some help! Hey, baby, come on, baby.
It's immediately obvious why she didn't come to the door.
He finds her face down in the bathtub.
After a year and a half together, it appeared that 27-year-old Anelia Garvin had found happiness with Jarvis Jenkins.
She was in love with him. She really was.
But a fire at her trailer has led to a horrific discovery.
Anelia!
He tried to wake Anelia and could not get in the room.
I guess him being worried, he kicked the door in.
He found her lifeless, face down, in her tub.
Anelia!
Firefighters arrive on the scene within minutes.
When they get there, they take care of the fire.
Hey! We need you inside. It's my niece.
But there is nothing they can do for Anelia.
They realized at that moment that she had been dead for quite some time.
When firefighters realize that Anelia is dead, they remove her family from the scene so police can begin their investigation.
When police got on scene, it wasn't ultimately clear how Miss Garvin had passed away.
Was there any bruising? However, the fire department suspected that the fire had been intentionally set.
There was a strong smell of gasoline outside where the fire was set.
The corner of the mobile home, right under the bathroom and bathtub where Anelia was found, was where the fire had been set. That immediately was extremely suspicious.
Police also find an empty gas can on the porch outside the trailer.
It was obvious the arsonist is trying to cover up her murder.
Due to a lack of local resources, police call in investigators from the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division to work the case.
We're the state police in South Carolina. A lot of times smaller departments that may not have a lot of manpower or resources will call SLED and then we step in and assist.
When SLED special agents arrive on the scene, they initially don't notice any obvious evidence of foul play inside the trailer.
Nothing in the actual home suggested any foul play.
It was a typical 20-something-year-old female bedroom. She had stuff, clothes kind of scattered.
However, one thing does strike them as suspicious.
The air conditioner unit was on the floor, several feet away from the window, and we investigated that as a possible point of entry.
In the bathroom, the agents find more potential clues.
2 cigarette butts were found in the bathroom by the tub.
the cigarette butts are bagged as evidence for possible DNA testing.
Her body was sent for autopsy, and usually autopsy will tell us the stuff that we don't see from the outside.
While the medical examiner's team performs the post-mortem examination, the SLED agents bring Anelia's aunt and grandfather down to the Varnville police station for formal statements.
When they sat down with Anelia's grandfather, it was clear he was having a hard time processing what had just happened.
He can't imagine who would want to harm anyone in the family.
Nobody ever showed up at the house wanting to fight her, or never heard anybody, never heard she did anybody wrong or anything like that? No. She ever tell you she was scared of anybody or worried about somebody hurting her?
All Anelia's grandfather knows for sure is that everything seemed fine when he last saw her.
That was Monday afternoon. She left to go to work.
Do you remember about what time that was?
About 3 a little bit after.
Then the grandfather, he stated that they were home all day December 4th. No one had seen Anelia because she was in her room all day with the door locked.
She was used to kind of sleeping in and sleeping during the day because she worked night shift.
But when she didn't answer when he pounded on her door, Anelia's grandfather knew something was wrong.
But I busted in. I looked right in the bed, don't see if I see anything burning. And she like that, I look at the bathroom. But I opened the door. And she wasn't in the tub.
When the investigators sit down with Anelia's aunt, she confirms much of what Anelia's grandfather told them.
Can you tell us about the last time you saw her?
Yeah, it was late the night before.
She got a knock on the door and it was Anelia.
I had to let her in. Anelia, what are you doing?
I'm sorry, I forgot my key.
Her aunt stated that they spoke briefly and they both went their separate ways.
Anelia had gone into her bedroom and locked the door behind her.
Her aunt said it wasn't unusual that Anelia spent the whole next day in her room alone.
So when Anelia didn't get up the next morning, she didn't think anything of it.
The investigators do, however.
A recluse who spends all day locked in her bedroom is found dead in her bathtub. It does raise some suspicion.
This could have been an overdose.
Maybe it was accidental, or they could be looking at a suicide.
Either way, there's still one thing that doesn't fit.
Why would someone set the trailer on fire?
The answer comes when investigators receive the results of Anelia's autopsy.
She didn't die of an overdose.
Anelia also didn't drown.
The autopsy showed that she did not have any fluid in her lungs.
And it was likely that Anelia was already dead when someone put her in the tub.
Death was from strangulation.
Investigators in Barnville, South Carolina have just learned that 27-year-old Anelia Garvin's mysterious death was no accident.
When the autopsy results came in, it stated that Anelia had been strangled.
There was no drowning that took place. She was actually already dead before she was put in that tub.
They believe that the arson was a move to cover up the murder.
Hoping to learn who might want Anelia dead, the detectives turned to her mother.
We were trying to find out everything we could about her and her life and her movements.
Thank you for coming to talk to us today.
Of course. However, Anelia's mother didn't initially have much to offer the investigators.
I didn't know who did it. She'd be distant sometime, and I would ask her, is everything all right? And she'd say, yes, my mom good. She would never tell me nothing.
That's okay. Any little thing could help.
For instance, was your daughter seeing anyone?
Well, Anelia's mother stated that Anelia had just recently broken up with her boyfriend of 1.5 years.
His name was Jarvis Jenkins.
When did they break up?
Just about a week ago.
That Saturday, when she done my hair, she said they broke up, so it had been like a week or something like that.
Any idea why they broke up?
Not really.
Everybody in the family loved him. Everybody took to him.
She didn't think Jarvis had something to do with Anelia's death.
The investigators aren't so sure, however.
Based on my experience, strangulation is up close and personal. You have to put your hands around someone's neck. And you have to get close enough to them to be able to do that. There's got to be a certain level of intimacy.
But does that implicate Jarvis or someone else in Anelia's life?
She had some troubles with Kenneth.
Who's that?
Her uncle.
They had got in an altercation and he got mad.
Although according to Anelia's mom, it all started when Kenneth got into a fight with Anelia's aunt at the trailer.
Kenneth and his sister, they had a run-in, and they had a little argument, and that resulted in a knife being pulled. Anelia hears the commotion. She opens her door. She sees Kenneth holding a knife.
I dare you!
What's going on?
None of your business.
You leave my baby out of this. She got nothing to do with it.
She ran to her car and called 911.
911, what's your emergency?
My uncle has a knife.
While Anelia is in the car calling the cops, Uncle Kenneth comes out yelling,
Hey, you better not be on the phone, please. Hey!
He knew that Anelia was going to get him in trouble.
Kenneth is raging and beating on the windows of the car.
And he busted her window.
And because of that, he ended up going to jail.
She pressed charges?
I don't know, but the cops came and they arrested him.
After talking to Anelia's mother, the investigators pull the records on the incident.
What they found raised an immediate red flag.
Anelia was supposed to testify against her uncle.
And she was supposed to testify the day before family found her dead in the trailer.
The same day she had supposedly spent locked in her bedroom.
She had him in dead in the room then.
Authorities are thinking Kenneth is their prime suspect.
That afternoon, investigators haul Anelia's uncle in for questioning.
He's no stranger to the lead investigator.
Me and you go way back from when I was at the county.
Yes, ma'am.
Kenneth has a criminal background, a history.
And the investigators don't waste any time letting Kenneth know why he's there.
Y'all were supposed to have court the other night.
Yes, ma'am.
Because you and her got into it.
Yes, ma'am.
Put on the spot by detectives, Kenneth claims the scuffle between them stemmed from a misunderstanding.
He states that his sister was the cause of it.
I was in my room because I was staying there at the time. I heard her busting, so I went out there bust and tell her shut up. She went to grab a knife, so I went to grab my sister.
Kenneth says he was trying to defend himself, and Anelia walked in.
And he was like, she did not know what was going on.
He also admitted that he had overreacted when Anelia called the cops.
I knew I went overboard and then I busted the window. Like, I was immediately sorry, I lost it.
Kenneth reported that since that night, he agreed to get the window fixed.
Back, put it back in the board and everything.
He also says he'd patch things up with Anelia.
In fact, Kenneth claimed he wanted Anelia to testify at his court hearing.
Her plan was to actually go with him to drop the charges.
So imagine his surprise when she didn't show.
He tried to get in touch with her, left her voicemails.
Respond, but at this time, now I think about it, she didn't,
But does that mean he's innocent? Or just that Kenneth has a good cover story?
Did you kill Anelia? Okay.
I promise you didn't.
Kenneth reported that he was heartbroken about Anelia's death.
He would never hurt his niece.
But Kenneth also claims to know who would.
Who would want to hurt her? Like, who would want to
No one person.
Kenneth was sure Jarvis was the killer.
Anelia Garvin's uncle has told investigators that there's only one person who could be behind his niece's murder.
He says it was probably her ex-boyfriend, Jarvis.
Beyond that, Anelia's uncle has little in the way of proof.
Kenneth reported that if they went on Facebook, they would notice that people were posting that Jarvis was the one who actually killed Anelia.
He says people are talking about how Jarvis was violent and abusive.
Did you ever witness any behavior like that between them?
No, I don't.
Did she ever actually tell you about any other incidents like that with him?
No.
Still, he's adamant that Jarvis was her killer.
Felt it in my heart, felt it in my soul. Like, it had me.
Kenneth was so sure that Jarvis was the killer that he texted him and told him that he was coming for him.
Everything I feel, I know is him.
However, the investigators aren't so sure.
Kenneth could be pointing the finger at Jarvis to divert suspicion away from himself.
But when the investigators follow up on Kenneth's statement, they do find multiple social media posts suggesting that Jarvis had something to do with Anelia's death.
After the homicide happened and people started hearing that she was passed away, the rumors started flowing.
After reading through the social media posts, the investigators asked Anelia's friend Patrice Barnes to come in for an interview.
Her post mentioned that she had seen Anelia the night before the murder.
Were you close with Anelia?
I'd like to think of our relationship as close.
Patrice tells investigators that she suspected Jarvis as soon as she heard Anelia was dead.
They argue all the time. They're constantly fighting. Constantly fighting.
There were a number of issues in the relationship, control being one of the main ones.
She'd be talking to me, and then he would assume that she's telling me to go tell another dude something. Simple stuff like that.
So drama.
For no reason.
And according to Patrice, Anelia had finally reached her limit.
She had just been telling me that she was completely done with him. She's fed up.
In fact, Patrice said that on the last night Anelia was alive, they had gone out to a club after work to celebrate the breakup.
She was happy. She was in a happy mood.
But not everyone was so happy about the breakup.
Patrice said that while they were out, Jarvis kept blowing up Anelia's phone.
He repeatedly tried to call her with private numbers, unknown numbers.
You said they were anonymous calls. Do you think they were from him?
I know for a fact they were.
They were?
Yeah, there's no other person that would call her anonymously.
Again? Girl, yes. I think you get the message.
To the investigators, Jarvis's behavior borders on obsession.
But when they asked Patrice, she admitted that she didn't know what happened to Anelia after she got home.
She dropped Anelia off at home. She was safe when she dropped her off.
After hearing Patrice's story, the investigators have a new priority: finding Jarvis Jenkins. But they never get a chance to look.
The next morning, Jarvis shows up and wants to talk to the detectives before the police could even ask him to come in.
Facebook killing me, man. Calling me a murderer, telling me I'm a killer.
Due to the heavy attention that Anelia's murder received on social media, he started realizing that he needed to talk to detectives to clear his name.
He says everyone is out here trying to pin this on him.
That's what made me come to y'all. I don't want to come to y'all.
He says he was grieving for Anelia, but the accusations were just too much to take.
They didn't give me long to cry. Because next to his Facebook, next to it calling me a killer, so the pain went to defending myself.
When investigators ask why people would blame him for Anelia's death, Jarvis admits that their relationship was volatile.
It was wild. We did a lot of fighting.
But he swears he has nothing to do with the murder.
I ain't no killer. You know what I mean? That's why I said I come to y'all. Like, if I was guilty, guess I promise you I'd have been in Pennsylvania somewhere. I'd have been long gone.
However, while Jarvis is adamant he didn't kill Anelia, he does admit he was the one who kept calling her while she was at the club with Patrice.
That phone was going to voicemail.
He says he called her from an anonymous number because she didn't always pick up if it was him since they broke up.
You know how it is when you beefing.
But he says that it never escalated past arguing.
We had an up and downs, we go through our moments, but it never been to the point where I would kill somebody.
He denied any involvement and offered up other potential suspects and motives.
Her uncle just bust out the window.
But Anelia's uncle wasn't the only person Jarvis pointed the finger at.
He says that Anelia may have been involved with some kind of drug cartel.
He says that Anelia had been holding money for the kingpin.
But why would Anelia hold money for him?
According to Jarvis, it was because the drug dealer was dating Anelia's sister.
Anelia Garvin's ex-boyfriend has just told the detectives investigating her murder that Anelia was mixed up with some pretty bad people.
Jarvis states that her sister's boyfriend is a notorious drug lord.
According to Jarvis, Anelia was involved in his operation too.
She was holding money for the drug dealer.
Anelia had all kind of things in her name.
Was Anelia killed to silence a potential witness?
Jarvis thinks that the drug dealer got to Anelia.
When the detectives bring her sister's boyfriend, Dwayne Harper, in for questioning, he denies everything.
Jarvis Jenkins, he had said that Anelia would hold cash for you. I'm talking like a lot of cash, not 5, 10, or 20. Big amounts.
Dwayne also denies having anything to do with Anelia's death.
Y'all were on good terms. No issues.
In fact, he said he loved Anelia like a sister.
We family. We played in the same sandbox.
And when the investigator asks why Jarvis would peg him as the killer, Dwayne says there's a simple explanation.
We're trying to put it on everybody else to get his ass out of it.
The investigators aren't willing to take Dwayne's word for it. But after a little digging, it appears he's telling the truth.
Investigators don't find anything that could lead Anelia to be a suspect or any kind of drug-related issues.
Was Jarvis simply trying to throw the investigators off track? As they expand their interviews to others in Anelia's circle, that appears to be the case.
Anelia's cousin Shauna also told investigators that Jarvis had been abusing Anelia.
It was a domestic violence relationship. I'm sorry to say that, but they always fought.
Shauna says the most recent incident occurred a few weeks ago, when Jarvis grabbed Anelia by the neck.
When you say grabbed her by her neck, how did he do that?
Like he put his hands around her.
He like...
Yeah, and he's being prepared to fight.
Since Anelia had been strangled to death, this seemed very significant to investigators.
And you witnessed that?
Yes, in the club.
But the worst incident that Shauna's aware of is something she didn't witness.
She was at his house, they got into it.
Anelia told her that he put her in a chokehold and told her that he was going to kill her.
When she came to, she was in the yard, passed out with a mop full of dirt.
What do you mean when she came to?
She passed out, she blacked out.
However, for all Jarvis's abuse, Shauna says that isn't the real reason Anelia left him.
He was having an affair with several other women, and he ultimately ended up getting one pregnant.
So that put him on the real rocky end.
But Shauna says that even after Anelia broke things off with Jarvis, he wouldn't leave her alone.
He began to aggressively text her, call her.
What would he say?
That she was with another man, she was a whore.
You think he get the message?
She had to block his phone number, block him on social media, and that he repeatedly tried to call her with private numbers, unknown numbers.
Shauna says that Jarvis had been stalking Anelia too.
When investigators subpoena Jarvis's cell phone, they find evidence to corroborate Shauna's story.
There's over 100 text messages from Jarvis threatening Anelia, telling her that he would kill her.
But the most damning evidence was an ominous message Jarvis sent to a friend on social media.
He told a friend he was going to choke Anelia until her head fell off.
Had Jarvis followed up on his threat? Looking for proof, the investigators turned to the cell tower data contained in the phone records to track his movements in the hours leading up to the murder.
It ranged from him being over by Love's in the parking lot of her workplace while she was on shift, and then moving to her residence, sitting there for a while.
It definitely looked like he was stalking her.
Then Jarvis's phone heads to the vicinity of the club in Walterboro, Virginia,
which is where she and her friends went to go out.
But then Jarvis suddenly drops off the radar.
In the wee hours of the morning, we see that there is no tower location data.
Jarvis had his phone off.
and the investigators have little doubt why he would do that.
This dead period of time, we believe, is when he killed Anelia.
But without evidence placing Jarvis at the scene of the crime, the investigators hesitate to make an arrest.
It's an extremely circumstantial case. SLED investigators wanted to dot every I and cross every T.
Until several months after the murder, they get an unexpected lead with the potential to tie everything together.
The investigators got a call from the authorities in Beaufort, South Carolina.
They had arrested Jarvis.
They actually locked up Jarvis Jenkins for the domestic violence.
Almost a year after someone choked Anelia Garvin to death, investigators have learned that police in Beaufort, South Carolina have arrested her ex-boyfriend, Jarvis Jenkins.
He was charged with abusing another woman, 34-year-old Chastity Baker.
Chastity was another girlfriend of Mr. Jenkins that he started dating after Anelia died.
With Jarvis in jail, the investigators approached Chastity hoping to secure her testimony against him.
However, she refused to cooperate with the investigation.
She was very much under his thumb, and she didn't want to believe that he was capable of this. He's the father of her child.
Despite the setback, the investigators may not need her cooperation.
The only thing that they have are the 2 cigarette butts to do the investigation on. And months went by before even getting the evidence off of the cigarette butts to come back.
Looking at lab evidence took almost a year. It was not ideal, but that's what we had to deal with. And we were finally able to compare a sample of Mr. Jenkins's DNA to physical evidence that we found at the scene, specifically the cigarette butts.
When the results come back, it's the breakthrough investigators need.
The cigarette butts match Jarvis's DNA.
They finally had evidence putting him at the scene of the crime.
In October of 2019, almost a year after Anelia's death, the prosecutors filed charges against Jarvis.
He was charged with murder, and we did that while he was in the custody for the case with Chastity and her domestic violence case.
News that Jarvis has been charged with Anelia's murder comes as a shock to her mother.
Everybody else was saying about him and her was having problems and he was threatening her on her phone and everything, but I didn't know. I was in the blind. He really fooled me. I mean, we was dancing with the devil and didn't realize that.
Anelia's mother isn't the only one whose eyes are opened. A month before Jarvis's trial is scheduled to begin, his ex-girlfriend Chastity contacts the investigators.
Hello, homicide.
Hi, Detective.
Chastity?
Thankfully, she changed her tune. She became cooperative with us. It was incredible.
I just wanted to say that I'm so sorry.
But I'm ready to tell you everything.
She apologized profusely for how uncooperative she had been, which of course is something that we're kind of used to in these situations.
She wasn't sure if she was doing the right thing. She was going through a lot of emotions at the time.
But Chastity tells investigators that things changed after she gave birth to Jarvis's baby.
She really saw the light. She realized, I'm a mom now, and that's a much more important role. And I don't want my child to be subjected to this or think it's okay in any way, shape, or form.
She states that Jarvis was very abusive towards her.
Chastity said that he would regularly threaten her, too.
And the nature of those threats were of particular interest to investigators.
Jarvis let her know that he could definitely get away with murder. He would literally tell her this.
He said that he'll kill me and get away with it.
He made statements to her that were consistent with him being involved in the death of Anelia.
But will her testimony help secure a conviction when Jarvis goes on trial in January of 2023?
This was, a long time coming.
COVID became an issue. It delayed the docket.
In their opening statements, prosecutors portray Jarvis as a violent man unable to accept that Anelia left him.
It was just a punch to the ego that he couldn't take.
So early on the morning of December 4th, 2018, Jarvis had taken his revenge.
He entered the residence through a window.
The air conditioning was his way of getting in. He pushed it into the room, crawled in that hole.
After Anelia got home, Jarvis was waiting for her.
She was likely taken off guard because she did not have defensive wounds on her, and there was no sign of a struggle.
He choked her and filled the bathtub and put her in it.
He wanted her death to look like an overdose or an accident.
But things hadn't gone as Jarvis planned.
The whole next day, no one had gone inside Anelia's room.
He gets tired of waiting, so he sets the fire to make sure somebody finds her.
To add credence to their theory, the prosecutors put Chastity on the stand.
She said he strangled her and had her on the ground like he did my daughter.
It shows that he had a common scheme or plan, a similar MO.
But there's one tiny piece of evidence that ties everything together.
When they had the DNA hit on the cigarette butt.
All in all, it makes a compelling picture for the jury.
Jarvis Jenkins is convicted of murder and sentenced to 50 years in prison.
I was glad because, I couldn't save my daughter's life, but now that he's locked up, he can.
She was a good mom.
She was about her daughter all day, every day. Outside of work, she was with her daughter.
We were trying to figure out what was wrong, but nobody heard from her.
She just said, I'm gonna go see a friend.
Family members were back in this neighborhood again today, passing out flyers.
This is more than just a missing person.
An anonymous tip came in, and that 6 people were involved. They wanted to teach her a lesson. Nobody just stepped up to stop.
Washington, D.C., capital of the United States, home to over 650,000 residents. The city is policed by officers over 7 districts.
We have District 1, which encompasses like downtown. District 2 is Upper Northwest, and the 7th Police District. It encompasses parts of Southwest and Southeast DC. It's a very diverse community. There are some very lovely neighborhoods tucked away in the 7th District. There's also historical marks, Frederick Douglass home, things of that nature. So it's a lot of good things over there. And then there are some not so good things.
On Monday, August 9th, 2010, family of 18-year-old Letitia Frazier walks into the 7th District Police Headquarters in distress.
Caroline Frazier, Barry Campbell have responded in, demanding service.
Letitia's mother, Caroline, says they filed a missing persons report days ago.
Caroline Frazier had been at her ends with. She wasn't getting the response that she felt she should be getting from the police department.
They was telling her she's a teenager, she just probably didn't come home, and so then we all went back to 7th D.
Detective Jackie Middleton meets with him.
The family gave me the layout of what had happened, what had transpired through the past week.
Caroline says they first became worried a week ago when Letitia, also known as Tish, didn't answer their calls.
We called Tish, no answer. Kept on calling Tish, and no answer. And we say, this ain't Tish that don't answer her phone. We didn't get no calls from her. We called her. We were trying to figure out what was wrong. And, nobody heard from her and nobody this. So we started looking for her.
When they couldn't find Letitia, they went to authorities, but hit another roadblock.
Letitia Frazier was now an adult. They were told that they had to wait 24 hours to report her missing.
They tried to say that she ran away, but we say she don't never run away.
I said, that's not like her. She wouldn't be doing that because she has a daughter here, so she wouldn't be doing that. She would not just not come home.
She kept the child with her. On her days off, her mother helped her because she worked. And so Caroline would keep the baby with her so that Letitia could work. And for Letitia not to contact Caroline, just to check on her baby for over a week, like radio down, nobody's heard from her, nobody's seen her. It just was an indicator that something awful was wrong.
She didn't hang out in the streets. She didn't go to clubs. She didn't do none of that. If she didn't come home, something happened.
Born on October 3rd, 1991, Letitia Frazier was the youngest of Caroline's 3 daughters, and her father, Barry's firstborn.
Carolyn and Barry, mom and dad, were no longer together as a couple, but they were definitely family, and they kept everyone close.
But I wasn't there is full hand, parents living together type. She lived in one house with her mother. I lived in another house, but so when I had that time with her, I tried to be the best, give her the best of me when I was around her.
I took care of all of them. Like I said, I raised them all mostly by myself, and, couldn't ask for nothing better.
As a teenager, Letitia started thinking about her future.
When she about 15, 16, she started, watching me cook, like chicken and stuff like that. And she started picking up, Mom, can I help you to do this? I said, go ahead. Can I help you to do that? I said, go ahead.
That was one of the conversations that we also had, that her passion for food and cooking. I was like, wow, so that's why you should, continue to go ahead and go to school once you, graduate, focus on, your career in cooking.
But at 15, Letitia became pregnant.
I didn't want him to go out and get pregnant at a young age, but it happened. I had to deal with it, help her to take care and everything.
It happened. Now let's work through it, let's grow. We all live and learn throughout life, so this is a lesson learned.
In 2007, Letitia gave birth to a baby girl.
It was just that precious. I felt real good as a grandfather, and my daughter was real happy.
She was a good mom. I mean, she did everything she could do for her. She bought her stuff when she was working, made sure she ate good, did her hair and everything.
Letitia was determined to finish high school.
She stayed in school, she focused, she continued, she graduated on time. So she had a scholarship to go to PG for culinary arts. But she didn't want to go right after school. She wanted to spend time with her daughter. That was another, just mother spending time with her child. She wanted to just be out of school for a year.
She loved her baby, was working at McDonald's and everything. So she was doing up okay.
She was about her daughter all day, every day. Outside of work, she was with her daughter.
On August 9th, Letitia is missing. Caroline and Barry are at the 7th District Police Headquarters asking for help.
You have a mother who's saying, I had been calling her adamantly, trying to reach her, but she wasn't answering her phone. That's a red flag. And the biggest red flag is a mother abandoning her child. You don't see that a lot.
Caroline tells Detective Middleton that she'd contacted the McDonald's where Letitia was scheduled to work the night she went missing.
I called them and they said she left out of there. She went home and I talked to the lady and she told me she ain't seen her come back in the next day.
Letitia would take the bus home once she completed her shift, and on many days, her boyfriend would meet her, and they would ride back to D.C. together.
The boyfriend is 20-year-old Ronell Nails.
He was a pretty nice young gentleman. When he came over our house a couple of times, we called Ronell.
He last saw her on the day that she went missing. They were actually together. They were riding on a bus. She got off the bus. He continued on his ride.
In Parkland. He got off so she supposed to met some friends of hers.
The detective asks if there are any other men in Letitia's life. They mention Marcus Sharp, the father of Letitia's daughter.
They remained friends.
That was confirmed through Caroline Frazier that they weren't together and that they were co-parenting.
Detective Middleton has heard enough to share the family's concern.
I now want to talk to all these people. So going forward, that's what I did.
Once the fire got sparked under Miss Middleton, she went rolling. She didn't, she went out and stomped the pavement.
This was a young lady of stability. This is more than just a missing person.
It's the summer of 2010 in Washington, D.C., and 18-year-old Letitia Frazier has been missing for a week. Having met with her family, Detective Middleton has a list of people to talk to. starting with Letitia's manager at the McDonald's where she worked.
That was the last place she was seen, so you start there. Did she get in an argument with a customer? Were there any threats? Did she have any problems? Talking to her manager, she was a good girl, a hardworking girl, a valued employee, and she never missed work. She was never late.
Letitia's day at work was a normal day. Co-workers didn't mention anything out the norm. Her attitude, demeanor, everything, she was just her loving self.
The manager confirms that Letitia left work and got on the bus with her boyfriend, Ronell Nails.
According to what I'm told is he's the last person to see her. So now we have to determine when he last saw her, what was going on, so on and so forth. So we interview him.
Detectives bring Ronell in the next day.
He was very upset with that situation. Anyone who really knew Letitia knew that she would not do this. She would not just walk away from her family and her job and her daughter especially.
According to Ronell, Letitia said she'd meet up with him later at his house, but she never showed up.
They got on the bus, the P-bus, like they normally do. She told him, according to him, that she was going to hang out with some friends. And, you know, it's early in the evening, 5-ish, 6-ish, you know. He didn't see any problem with that, you know. So that's what she did. He went on home. He seemed concerned, you know. I felt after talking to him that he didn't do anything to her.
But a gut feeling isn't enough.
We asked him if he would be willing to take a polygraph, and he did take a polygraph test, and it showed no deception.
Before Ronell leaves, he makes a suggestion.
He suggests that we talk to the baby father. Marcus lived around the corner from where he last saw her. He knows that that's where she got off the bus at, so could Marcus have seen her? He could have. He could know something.
Naturally, he's going to be someone you're going to look at. You want to know if there's issues going on between them. Is there any jealousy of him knowing that she's now dating someone else?
They find Marcus at his home.
He had no problem with talking to me and gave me that he hadn't seen her. I did ask him would he be willing to take a polygraph, and he did. And he passed the polygraph or showed no deception.
Her child's father, he was cleared and nothing came of that.
With Marcus and Ronell in the clear, the only clue Detective Middleton has left is that Letitia got off the bus in the Parkland neighborhood on the night she disappeared.
Detective Middleton knew at this particular point that she's in the right neighborhood to be looking, because this is a neighborhood where Letitia has friends.
I had flyers made with the Metropolitan Police Department logo on it, a picture of Letitia, Crime Solvers numbers, the 7th District's phone number, and my number as well. While putting up the flyers, recanvassing, you know, even talking to neighbors over and over again, you know, to see if they heard or saw anything.
She is joined by Letitia's family.
The mom, Carolyn, took it upon herself and the rest of the family whenever they weren't working, they were all out in the streets. They were, you know, banging on doors, putting up posters.
We have an employee missing from work. We have a mother who hasn't been in contact with anyone. Something's going on here. Let's try to figure out where she is.
In Southeast Washington, D.C., investigators have no leads in the disappearance of 18-year-old mother Letitia Frazier. Family members and detectives scour the Parkland neighborhood, where Letitia told her boyfriend she was going to see a friend.
The family and friends, we're spending a great deal of time in the communities, passing out flyers, trying to obtain information in reference to the case.
Letitia's mother, Caroline, is often joined by a well-known local TV reporter.
She called Sam Ford, who became very persistent. Like every time she went out to put out flyers, he was there. He stayed in the community, supporting her.
Family members were back in this neighborhood again today, passing out flyers they had made up in search of 18-year-old Letitia Frazier.
Sam, connected with the family as well. He could see, how much effort they had been putting in to try and find Letitia. And he covered that story numerous times in the news.
Caroline speaks with everyone in the Parkland neighborhood who might have known Letitia. Accompanied by Sam Ford and his camera, she comes across 23-year-old Brian Gaither.
Sam agreed to go with Caroline as she went around the neighborhood asking questions and knocking on doors, and film her doing that.
Gaither is a friend of 16-year-old Johnny Sweet, himself a mutual friend to both Letitia and her child's father, Marcus.
The father actually lived in that area, and that is how Letitia first came to know Johnny Sweet, Brian Gaither. They hung out together.
Brian offers kind words.
Brian Gaither came out and apologized, said he was sorry for what had happened. He can't believe she's missing. We don't know anything about it.
Brian invites her inside.
You're welcome to come in and look in the apartment for her. She's not here. She's not here.
So he went and walked Caroline in the building to show her around and make sure that Letitia wasn't in there.
She came out with no sighting or sign of Letitia being in that apartment.
Caroline's efforts don't uncover any news on Letitia's whereabouts. But there is a sign that someone in the neighborhood knows something.
The flyers were going up and the flyers were coming down. Like they would go through on Wednesday, put flyers on all the light poles and hang them on doors and stuff. And then in the immediate area where we had suspected she was last seen, those flyers would be torn down. Okay, and we couldn't understand why and couldn't figure out what was going on.
I found that to be very strange. I've been involved in missing person cases, and community pulls together. They don't tear down the flyers.
It was clear through the investigation that someone didn't want Letitia found.
Letitia's family doesn't give up. They continue to hang flyers and hold out hope she will come home.
Every day we put them up, they were taking them down, and we kept it going on.
Summer turns into fall with no sign of Letitia. Then, a disturbing new development.
One of the sisters of Letitia Frazier began to receive social media threats saying that her sister was dead, stop looking for her.
If we keep looking for Tisha, they say that somebody gonna get hurt.
One of the threats that they received, and it was Letitia is dead, one gone, more to come.
To investigators, the threats are a potential break.
Somebody's knows something or saying they know something and saying where she could be. So let's get somebody involved to try to track where these messages are coming from.
They were able to get search warrants for that account They were able to locate the IP address for where that had come from.
Okay, let's go, team. We're all excited. We're going to go out. We're going to look for this address.
In the fall of 2010, Washington, D.C. investigators raced to a location where they traced social media threats made against the family of missing teenager Letitia Frazier.
We follow the directions to a T, and it takes us, to this address, and we get there, and boom, it's a vacant lot. We could only assume that somebody was using their hotspot at that location in this lot. They parked their car there and sent these emails or text messages.
So now it's like regroup time. We're trying to figure out where can she be, who is she with, what happened.
Caroline was persistent. She just kept going, and she kept bringing the media, so it was in our faces. Every citizen saw it.
Her daughter, 18-year-old Letitia Monique Frazier, disappeared after leaving her job at McDonald's last August 2nd. She was last seen around Trenton Place Southeast, where the family passed out flyers last summer.
It eventually pulled on the heartstring of someone. Someone got tired of watching on the news the mother grieving and the mother requesting answers. Someone felt the need to call the crime solvers.
The tip comes in on January 10th, 2011, 6 months into the investigation.
An anonymous tip came in that Letitia was murdered and that 6 people were involved.
We were able to track that information back to the caller, and the caller, really didn't want to come in, but we talked to that person. The informant laid it out, and the informant put names to the players, but they were mostly first names and nicknames.
One, known as Black Jesus, is 16-year-old girl Anika Nelson. The informant helps investigators identify the other 5.
All of these people were supposedly friends of Letitia. There were 3 boys, 3 girls.
Johnny Sweets, Anika Nelson, Brian Gaither, Lene Bell, Kamal Hassan, and Cynthia Proctor.
There were 6 players involved, the youngest being 16. And I think the oldest person at the time was 23 years old. The youngest person was Anika Nelson.
Detective Middleton wants to start the interviews by talking with Anika.
Because she's a juvenile, I had to speak with her mother and get permission. And I explained to her mother what was going on, and that I assured her that we just wanted to talk to her. She wouldn't be arrested. The same way that she came in would be the same way that she would return. And they came in, my mom and Anika.
On January 22nd, the 16-year-old sits down with detectives.
It's not like she came in and just confessed, We had information from the informant that you put in your face. So it's like, we got you, now what? So they questioned her and they let her tell her story.
Anika says that Letitia often came to Johnny's apartment after work to hang with a group of 6 friends that regularly met up there.
Johnny Sweet's mother was hospitalized and was not in the apartment. Brian Gaither was staying there with Johnny during the time that his mother was away.
One day, Anika says that Johnny told her, Brian, Lene, Kamal, and Cynthia that Letitia had stolen from him.
$900 of Johnny's money was missing. and he believed that Letitia was the one who took his money.
Johnny was upset, and soon the others were too.
Johnny Sweet was angry because he believed that Letitia had stolen money from him.
His outrage spread among the friends.
All of these folks really were, kind of at loose ends and banded together. Johnny Sweet was actually the ringleader of this group.
They got to a point where they wanted to teach her a lesson.
On January 22nd, 2011, Washington, D.C. detectives are questioning 16-year-old Anika Nelson over the disappearance of her friend, Letitia Frazier. Anika says that she and a group of 5 friends were angry with Letitia for allegedly stealing money from Johnny Sweet. Johnny came up with a plan.
They would lure her to the apartment, and then when she arrived, they would assault her.
Johnny is the one who talked the girls into starting an assault on Letitia to try to get her to tell him where the money is.
Following her shift at McDonald's, Letitia arrived at the apartment to hang out. Johnny took her to a bedroom where the others were waiting.
Anika said, I just punched her in her face. So she swung the first round. And then, it just happened.
They accused her of stealing money from Johnny Sweet, which she denied. They continued to hit her, to beat her, to kick her when she was down.
At a particular point, the girls stopped, and Johnny started beating on her. Johnny started stomping all on her. They gagged her mouth with a sock. They put a pillowcase on her head.
They duct taped her wrists and ankles together, and they put her in a closet in that bedroom. They were trying to decide what to do now, because she was kind of fading in and out of consciousness at that point.
Unsure what else to do, they left Letitia in the closet.
They continue to party, what they do. They party, do their thing, and then they go back and check on her, and she's no longer breathing. So they panic, and now we have a body. What are we gonna do?
There was a lot of stress. The boys especially were going back and forth about what to do. By the end of that evening, most of them left.
Anika went home and is unsure what happened to Letitia's body. Her interview is a big break, but investigators will need more to make arrests.
Now it's time to get a search warrant. Once search warrant is signed, now detectives going back to that location with the mobile crime technicians, and now we're looking for evidence.
They do not find Letitia's body, but they continue to look for signs of foul play.
With information that she was placed inside the closet was examined, and they cut areas of carpet out, and they also cut the floorboard, and they realized that blood has slipped down in between the wood, so that now can also be submitted for analysis to the laboratory.
That same day, investigators bring in the remaining 5 suspects for questioning. 23-year-old Brian Gaither confirms Anika's story, but reveals shocking new details.
At one point in the evening, they heard Letitia moaning in the closet, and she was still alive. And so Brian Gaither went back to the bedroom and pulled her slightly out of the closet and put her in a chokehold or bar hold until she stopped making noise. I'm sure that it killed her. There was no movement, no sound after that.
But it wasn't until later, Brian says, that they realized Letitia had died.
Now everyone began to panic. What are we going to do?
In a separate interview, 18-year-old Cynthia Proctor describes what happened the next day when 4 of them returned to the apartment.
Johnny Sweets, Brian Gaither, Cynthia Proctor, and I believe Mr. Hassan, they had decided to try and dismember Letitia's body. And they put her in the bathtub of the apartment and tried to start that process.
Cynthia Proctor used a kitchen steak knife to try to dismember the body.
It was so disturbing that Cynthia Proctor, who was 6 months pregnant at the time, began feeling sick, and she had to leave to go to the hospital.
Cynthia doesn't know what happened next. Investigators take that question back to Brian Gaither.
Gaither took the body in like a Rubbermaid tub to the dumpster out behind the apartments. In the parking lot, there's 2 dumpsters. Placed the tub in the dumpster.
Brian Gaither is arrested and charged with second-degree murder. Charges follow for Anika Nelson, Lene Bell, Johnny Sweet, Cynthia Proctor, and Kamal Hassan. News of the arrests and Letitia's fate reaches her family.
It was more of a bittersweet. We was happy that we got to the bottom of it. You still had questions.
The biggest question for law enforcement and Letitia's family is the same. Where is Letitia's body?
The dumpster where they put the body is in the rear of the apartment where they were.
We track it to a landfill. By now, 5 months in, that landfill is a mountain of like 70 feet tall. There was no guarantee that the evidence would still be intact, so command decision was made that we wouldn't unearth the mountain to look for the body.
It was hard. It was hard. That I ain't had no body for her. And, I couldn't put her in the ground the way I wanted to do.
For prosecutors seeking 6 convictions in connection with Letitia's death, not having a body is a major obstacle.
It's very unusual to have cases that go to trial where you do not have the victim's body. All you have is people testifying about what happened.
By the spring of 2013, 5 of the 6 friends who stand accused of being responsible for the death of 18-year-old Letitia Frazier have taken plea deals. Brian Gaither receives the longest sentence.
It was believed that the chokehold that Brian Gaither put Letitia in at the end of this was what ultimately caused her final demise.
Gaither started that he was going to go to trial, and he pled guilty. Gaither was sentenced to 32 years.
Anika Nelson pled guilty to second-degree murder and kidnapping, received a sentence of 18 years. Cynthia Proctor, who was pregnant at the time, admitted in her plea to attempted dismemberment and beating Letitia. She received a sentence of 21 years. Kamal Hassan, who also pled guilty, received a sentence for kidnapping and second-degree murder and received 18 years in prison for his role. Lene Bell, who was the least culpable of this group, pled guilty and received a sentence of 3 years in jail. That jail term was suspended, and she served 2 years of probation.
Johnny Sweet, the alleged ringleader, takes his chances at trial in April 2013. Lene Bell is the star witness against him.
Lene was an interesting character in that, although she was there and admitted to being there, she did not really want to participate in what was going on. She was, in her words, goaded into doing something to Letitia.
We didn't know all of what happened until the court. And then that's when Lene Bell put it all on the line. The girls were punching all on Letitia, and at a particular point, Lene Bell had told them to stop. And when that occurred, that's when Johnny got involved. He continued to hit on her, and when she fell to the floor, he stomped on her, and he just continued over and over. Lene Bell was up there testifying. Everybody was crying. The whole courtroom was in tears. It was so sad, and it was hurtful to hear. Nobody just stepped up to stop.
They beat her up, tied her up, duct tape her, tried to amputate her.
Prosecutors say there is no evidence that Letitia stole anything from Johnny.
The police looked for that $900 and any link to Letitia. There was no connection whatsoever. And in fact, Letitia was the only one of the group who actually had a job and was getting up and going to work every day to support her 3-year-old child.
Prosecutors don't have a body, but they are able to present powerful evidence.
They found the blood in the house, and they cut out the certain pieces of carpet that they found with blood on it.
The comparison is done between the blood that's recovered and the DNA that's obtained from the family members.
The DNA is a match to Letitia. Johnny's attorneys claim that Brian, not Johnny, was the ringleader and the killer.
Brian Gaither goes in there and put her in some type of chokehold that she suffocated. Due to the lack of oxygen, she died.
The jury rejects the defense, finding him guilty of kidnapping and first-degree murder.
Johnny Sweet, who had the harshest sentence, was sentenced to 52 years.
The conviction brings a close to a long and painful journey for Letitia's family. But for Caroline and Barry,
but one blooded.
One shot to the back.
Blooded.
One shot to the back of the head.
A detective that never gives up.
To have that stamina to just grind and go, it's something else.
Must connect the dots.
That was like Pandora's box. The investigation just started opening up.
You have surveillance.
Behind a carefully planned and coordinated murder plot.
There's the cone.
Yeah.
They're shopping for the tools they need to kill a man.
But one small mistake.
I think I found something.
Leads police to the suspects.
If you didn't shoot this guy, this is the time to say it.
And a showdown to uncover the truth.
This brother wanted to give it up.
You know how hard it's gonna be with a sneak tag?
We're like, nah, you gotta be kidding me.
We're 30 minutes north of Atlanta in Alpharetta, Georgia. This is a very affluent area that some call the Beverly Hills of the South. Violent crime in Alpharetta is very low, and the occurrence of a homicide is even lower.
And that's why a disturbing call to police in 2016 was so unusual.
What's the address of your emergency?
It's Wade Creek. Need to send someone right away. There are shots fired inside. Have somebody right away.
When police arrive to respond to this call of gunfire coming from the area, they find this door open.
Once officers are on call and they make the interior of the dwelling safe, they notice a black male dead on the floor. That's when they freeze the scene, because now they're calling in homicide. No one else comes in till the homicide units arrive on call.
So Alpharetta police have a phenomenal detective named Ja'Kai Braithwaite in homicide. He takes this case. I know him personally. This guy is the real deal.
I wanted to be an investigator because I wanted a challenge. I want to do what others may not want to do. I want to put the work in. I'm a Jersey boy, a native of New Jersey. My dad was a federal police officer, and it was clear to me that my career path, once I graduated college, was going to be in public safety. December of 1999 was when I was hired by the Alpharetta Police Department. I ended up going to detectives. I think it's a special, unique calling because many are called, but only few are chosen to be a detective.
The victim is a black male, late teens to early 20s.
They don't know who the victim is. He's unidentified. All they know is an older gentleman owns the property by the name of Walter Berry. Clearly, that's not Walter Berry on the floor.
We've got call-outs to the homeowner.
Ja'Kai's partner, Dave Bokniak, quickly meets him at the scene.
Ready to do this?
Always. We definitely have a really close bond. Every homicide Detective Bokniak and I that we worked, to date, it's been solved.
That's odd.
You could see this traffic cone right there in the doorway. We were like, what the hell's up with the cone?
Is that ours?
It was here before we arrived.
We'll bookmark it for now. Find us some other witnesses.
I knew there was going to be some significance to that cone.
They head into the kitchen of the residence, and that's where they find the victim, a young black male, face down in a pool of blood.
Damn. He was on his side, and he had a gunshot wound to his head. There was a bar stool that he was tied up to.
This victim was kneeling down and shot in the back of the head. That speaks nothing but a straight-up execution.
What is that? Looks like power cables.
He was wrapped up with like a piece of computer cord or some kind of cord that was in the house.
One shot to the back of the head. We found any shell casings? Did the killer pick up his brass? No.
We were pretty certain it was probably a revolver that was used to shoot the kid.
It's just a kid.
This hit me a little different because I had recently found out that I'm going to be a father.
You good?
I'm about to celebrate a life, And here this life is gone, and I'm thinking like, wow, like I just can't imagine what the family is gonna go through.
Detectives, I've got some witnesses for you.
Go. I'll handle the crime scene. Okay.
Jakai meets the next door neighbors, John and Erica Williams. Turns out John and Erica are the actual 911 callers. So bam, right now Jakai's clicking.
I can't believe this happened to Kadarius.
He's your neighbor?
Jakai learns that the victim is 21-year-old Kadarius Medlock.
Yeah, he lives there with his uncle, Walter Berry.
Tell me more about the crime.
It happened around 9:30 this morning.
Erica had just arrived home. She sees our victim standing on the front porch. He saw her, they knew one another. He waved, she pulled into the garage.
And then about 15 minutes later, I heard 2 gunshots.
Erica described looking out her front window, seeing a black male exit the house and enter the back seat of the vehicle that was pulled into the driveway of her neighbor's house. And then they drove off.
Describe the guy.
He was bald.
He's got a white dust mask on. In my opinion, detective-wise, that's him concealing his face, not wanting anyone to see what he looks like.
Describe the car.
It was maroon in color.
She said she believed it was like a Hyundai or Honda.
Do you think of anything else?
She just gave a great jumping off spot.
What'd you find out? We made contact with the homeowner.
One of the detectives contacted him and learned that he was actually in Dallas, Texas at the time. He immediately got on a plane and flew home.
He's gonna come to the office this afternoon. The other thing is, there are signs of a robbery.
The main bedroom upstairs was completely ransacked. You start asking yourself, what's going on here?
This whole thing looks like a home invasion murder. Let's find out who else we can speak with.
Jakai and Dave also find one other witness that reported seeing suspicious activity around the townhome.
I thought he was just doing street work.
He saw a black male walking around the townhome wearing one of those traffic vests, and he had in his possession a traffic cone.
When he told us the traffic cone, and obviously we saw it inside the residence, we were like, okay. So these jokers were using that traffic cone to disguise themselves as construction workers.
What do he look like?
Young, maybe in his 20s, short hair.
According to this witness, the man in the traffic vest later comes out of the house and got into the maroon car, and the maroon car speeds away.
All right, thank you.
We definitely, at that point, were starting to try to connect some of the dots.
Hey, what's up? What's happening? This is my friend's house.
Relax.
He was asking, what's going on? This is our friend, this is our friend.
His name is Ezekiel Mott, and he claims to be Kadarius's friend.
We want to know what's up.
I see a small maroon car.
This right here is a totally unbelievable moment. Did the killers just return to the scene of the crime?
We need to ask you some questions.
This investigation is about to take a crazy turn.
What is that? Looks like power cables.
Alpharetta, Georgia, homicide detective Jakai Braithwaite is investigating the murder of 21-year-old Kadarius Medlock.
Describe the guy.
He was bald.
Witnesses identified 3 suspects in the case and a getaway car.
It was maroon in color.
Witnesses solve crimes. We definitely have a good start in place.
Hey, what's happening? This is my friend's house.
Relax.
While Jakai was at the crime scene, the victim's friend Ezekiel arrives.
We want to know what's up.
And he happens to be in a car that looks just like the one the suspects drove.
We need to ask you some questions.
Was this a situation where a jealous friend murdered his boy, or what?
Why are you here?
Fran texted me about it.
You may have situations where suspects return to the crime scene to watch, to see what's going on.
Is that your car?
My girl's right.
The biggest thing was the car. That small maroon car, we definitely were honing in on that.
We want to talk to you at the station.
We had to ask questions, and we did just that.
Jakai brought Ezekiel and his girlfriend back to the precinct for questioning. He also asked Erica Williams, the witness who had the best look at the suspect's car, to also come in.
Erica looked at the actual car and told Jakai that it's either the car or a car that looks exactly like it. Between the car match and Ezekiel having a similar description to one of the suspects, it was time to turn up the heat.
During the interview with Ezekiel, the young man denied involvement in his friend's death. In fact, he provided Jakai with an alibi. He said he was shopping at the time of the murder.
Between phone records and eyewitnesses, Ezekiel was cleared of any wrongdoing. It turned out that it was a crazy coincidence that Kadarius' friend had the same type of car as the killers.
That was ME's office. The case was ruled a homicide by gunshot, and the caliber of bullet was a .38.
Walter Berry's here.
Kadarius' uncle arrives back in town. As they meet face to face, Jakai is totally surprised. He knows the uncle.
I knew about W, like, hey, what's up, W? You know, but I had an idea when I heard the name Walter Berry that that was an individual who I had known from the gym and through a circle of friends.
So sorry for your loss.
Of course, he was wrecked. They started telling us some of the victimology about his nephew.
Darius was like my son.
His nephew was from Memphis. He came to live with him a few years ago. He worked at a local restaurant, which he would walk to every day.
He was going to school, and he just turned 21.
That time we're learning, like, wow, this was a good kid.
Was he beefing with anyone? No.
I want to know, is your nephew into anything?
He didn't run around in the bad crowd.
At this point, Jakai and Dave got to look at the uncle cross-eyed a little bit and see what's going on.
What about you?
I'm wondering, you mixed up in something?
You know me.
Just answer the question.
Even though they're social and they know some of the same friends, it doesn't matter. Jakai has a duty.
Just tell the truth. Look, I don't know anything.
I said, listen, I don't really care what you're into right now. Right now, my goal is to figure out what happened to your nephew.
This wasn't because of me, I swear. I want to find out who did this too.
What was taken from your bedroom?
I made a list.
The uncle goes on and gives Jakai a long laundry list of items, very expensive items.
A lot of his watches were taken. He had a Gucci scarf that was inside his Louis Vuitton bag, and the duffel bag actually even had his initials on the handle of it.
They stole a PlayStation, some cash too, and my gun.
What kind of gun?
A .40 caliber.
It's not the murder weapon.
There was a semi-automatic, and we believe the murder weapon was a revolver.
Again, I'm sorry for your loss, man.
We knew we were dealing with a burglary/home invasion, but we couldn't understand why the death, why the murder. We believe we're dealing with 3 suspects, and we're like, all right, what do we have to focus on? What's up with this cone?
Look, man, there's not even a mark on it.
This cone was a brand new cone.
It still has the barcode sticker on it.
Maybe we can find out where it was sold.
We actually researched the name brand on the cone,
I'm a detective in Georgia.
We discovered that this company, the only place in the Southeast that they distributed to was Lowe's.
There's a Lowe's less than 3 miles away from Kadarius's home. What are the odds they bought it here?
This orange cone could crack the case.
Let's roll. Look, man, there's not even a mark on it.
Detective Ja'Kai Braithwaite has just caught a break in the Kadarius Medlock murder case.
Maybe we can find out where it was sold.
Ja'Kai finds out that the safety cone left at the crime scene is only sold at the home improvement store Lowe's.
Let's roll.
We were thinking that, well, maybe there is something here.
On April 23rd, 2016, just 2 days after the murder, Ja'Kai and his partner go to Lowe's, hoping to stir up a lead on the case.
As soon as we walk into Lowe's, smacked us right in the face. What do we see?
Is this for real?
They have a display stand of all of that safety equipment. Traffic cones, work vests, traffic vests, dust masks. I definitely got excited. I was like, yeah.
He knows that these killers probably stopped at this Lowe's, purchased that cone, which means there's gonna be a receipt, transaction, and video.
Ja'Kai and Dave have to find out if and when that cone was actually purchased in this Lowe's store.
It looks like the cone was bought on the 21st at 8:41 a.m.
That's an hour before the murder.
They bought other stuff too.
He tells us not only was that cone purchased, but a dust mask and a traffic vest.
This is a detective's dream. This is Christmas Day at Lowe's. I mean, bam.
How's it paid for? With a credit card.
This is when, my partner and I, almost high-fiving each other. We're playing it cool, though, right?
They're on a roll. So now for the cherry on top moment.
You have surveillance?
Yeah, come take a look.
That was like Pandora's box. The investigation just started opening up. There he is.
Ja'Kai.
Vince, what's going on,
man? We met with Ja'Kai and his partner, Dave Bokniak, to take a look at the Lowe's surveillance video.
So you're in this store, the manager's helping. He's actually jumping in there, giving you stuff with no pushback.
I'm jumping out of my seat. We couldn't get back there to go look at that video quick enough.
So let's take a look at it.
Okay. So this is the cash register. We see these two guys approach, and they both match the description, albeit a vague description from the witnesses, but they match the description.
Oh, so the two guys, white T-shirt and black T-shirt.
Right. So when I'm seeing this, we're like, yo, this is our guy. This is the dude.
There's the cone.
Yeah.
So they're literally shopping to get items that they need to commit a murder. They're shopping for the tools they need to kill a man. That's crazy. I've never seen anything like that. So at this point in the video, you're considering these guys could be any of the three suspects.
Exactly. And in fact, yeah, we don't know who is who.
I love the quality of the video. It shows the exchange between these two brothers. They were setting your story up and making it look pretty.
It's a phenomenal moment.
It felt good. Yeah, of course, we don't know who these actors are, right? But we knew we got something. So we're in the game now. You actually see these two brothers walk out of the store, and they walk right over to the car, which actually fit the description of, the car given by our witnesses. And you see him, look at him, he's still holding a cone. Actually, we ended up sending this cone off to the GBI to be analyzed.
I specifically told them to look inside the rim of the cone for DNA.
You got at least two of the three guys on the roll call that you're looking for. What do you do next to try to move this case forward?
At this point, we know we have a credit card associated with this, so we know we're going to start rolling. We know we're going to start doing.
The account was opened about 6 weeks ago, but now it's closed.
We contact the credit card company. They immediately let us know, yes, this was a fairly new account.
Who owned the account?
The name is Tyrese Donaldson.
I'll run his info.
The name comes with everything. It comes with addresses. It comes with race. You may get a look at your person of interest or your suspects. Like close a business.
It's a fake identity.
The name on the credit card was one person. The information belonged to another person.
You made a lot of purchases before the account was closed.
Can you send us a list with all the transactions?
Sure, yeah.
Thank you.
We weren't discouraged. We knew that there was a good chance doors were going to start opening. We are looking and analyzing all of these transactions.
They racked up $13,000 worth of charges all over the metro area. And every purchase on that card presents an opportunity for Jakai and Dave to identify who is actually using the card.
Restaurants, nightclubs, electronic stores.
As Jakai and Dave are going through all of these transactions, there's one that really stands out.
Hold up. Check this out.
It was a bill paid, an insurance bill paid for an insurance company. So then we sent subpoenas to this insurance company for subscriber information related to that, and we get the name of a female.
This is an auto policy. The holder's name is Melanie Pound.
So we're like, what's the connection with this female?
She's connected to our guy.
We know as investigators that suspects do that, right? Everything is through their mother or through their girlfriend.
Probably your girlfriend.
And there is a secondary driver listed on the policy. Jamel Ganesh.
We run that person's name, and we get name, date of birth, we get a driver's license photo. The driver's license photo of who was listed as a secondary driver is the black male, bald head, bushy beard.
This is more than a good lead. This is straight butter.
This is the guy from the surveillance video.
Jakai and Dave had just identified their very first suspect.
Is this for real?
Detective Jakai Braithwaite traces the cone recovered from the crime scene to a nearby store.
We see these two guys approach the cash register.
Surveillance video at the store provides detectives with a glimpse of two of the suspects.
Hold up. Check this out.
A suspicious transaction on the suspect's fraudulent credit cards provides police with a name. Jamel Ganesh.
This is the guy from the surveillance video.
This is a major break in the case. They finally found a legitimate name and identity to work with.
We were excited. That was another aha moment for us. We just identified our first suspect, but we were just moving. We knew we just had, a lot of work to do.
Instead of immediately arresting Jamel Ganesh, Jakai and his partner took a more methodical approach.
They dove into Jamel's background and discovered that he lived in an apartment complex in Atlanta.
Further digging uncovered his cell phone number. Detectives quickly subpoenaed the phone records
in hope that it would lead to the identity of the other suspects.
Phone records came in.
You have phone records called detail report. And you're looking for frequency in calling, like the most called number or top callers.
I'm seeing two numbers that stick out.
Let me track them and see if they match up, okay?
We're not just analyzing phone logs, we're analyzing cell towers, right? So we're getting movements of these numbers.
These three, they belong together.
We can see the movements and GPS coordinates and with the towers that these phones are bouncing off of, just putting them into Alpharetta.
And that was in the night before the murder.
We see that these individuals are in one central location.
They're at Jamal's condo.
Electronically, it's like watching a movie.
This is the morning of...
We see those phones, they start to move together, going toward the same location.
They can see them travel on a map from their home to the Lowe's, to the crime scene, and then back home.
Damn, this is unbelievable.
Check this out.
One of the unique things about all three of these numbers is that these individuals leading up weeks prior to the homicide, their phones never show a history of ever going to the city of Alpharetta.
So why did they go to his house? Maybe they got tipped off that there are valuable things to steal. I don't know.
At that point, we felt pretty certain that those were going to be our suspects.
Run the other two numbers.
First comes back to Michael Dawson. Here we go.
We see his driver's license photograph and where you're like, oh.
That's the guy that had the comb.
The getaway driver.
We believe that, yeah, Michael Dawson is going to be the individual who actually went into Lowe's with Ganesh.
Now they've ID'd both suspects from the Lowe's video. This is all coming together.
And the last guy?
The last number belongs to Dontravius Mahone.
I thought he was just doing street work.
It appears they have identified all 3 suspects in the case.
What I can't figure out, the car. None of them own the vehicle.
Wait a sec.
One of the numbers that Jakai and his partner Dave discovered were on these call detail reports was from Prestige Auto.
Prestige Auto.
Let's check this place out.
This could be the final piece of the puzzle.
Hey, y'all need a rental today?
This is a place you can actually rent and pay for these cars in cash.
So how can I help y'all today?
We're with Alpharetta PD.
Okay. All right, just give me 1 minute.
Right now, Jakai and Dave want to know what vehicles were rented from Prestige Auto around the time of the murder.
I think I found something.
They learned that the phone number associated with the suspect rented a maroon Hyundai Accent 2 days before the homicide and then returned it on the day of the homicide.
Just follow me.
Are you effing kidding me right now? This has got to be the place.
There it is. A Hyundai Accent.
That's the maroon car.
It was like crazy.
They got him. It's arrest warrant time right now.
Phone records came in.
Detective Jakai Braithwaite is one step closer to solving the Kadarius Medlock homicide.
That's the guy that had the comb.
The getaway driver.
Jakai and his partner appear to have identified all 3 suspects.
So how can I help y'all today?
On top of that, they find the place that the getaway car was rented from.
There it is.
We end up finding what kind of car it was.
A Hyundai Accent.
This case is about to be closed.
Who rented this car?
A woman named Sharon Jones.
The car was probably rented to the suspect's girlfriend. That's common. They get a girl to do it, and then the girl gives them the car, they go commit the crime, give it back to her, she turns the car in, no one knows the difference.
I can tell you exactly where they drove it.
How?
We track them so nobody steals them.
So they actually have their vehicles equipped with a hidden GPS?
Give me the GPS data.
Yeah, sure thing.
Right now, it's time for Jakai and Dave to just bring the case on home. Between the witness statements, surveillance video, phone, and GPS records, Jakai had a mountain of evidence connecting all 3 suspects to the murder.
Further digging revealed that a girlfriend of suspect Dontravius Mahone helped rent the car for them.
The final cherry on top was that DNA for Michael Dawson, the man they believed to be the getaway driver, was found on the cone.
At this point, arrest warrants were issued for the suspects. Now all they had to do was take them into custody.
On the morning of June 28, 2016, they put together a plan.
Police search warrant!
We had 3 suspects in 3 different counties.
Jakai's in Atlanta, Dave is in Clayton County, and another detective from Alpharetta is in DeKalb County. Literally, like looking at their watches and saying, go. All 3 agencies hit these 3 houses at the exact same time.
Police, get your hands up. Hey, your hands up.
And what's crazy about this simultaneous operation, they hit this house and suspect Dontravius Mahone actually goes for a gun.
Go.
Clayton County SWAT, they don't play around.
They recovered the gun and they took Dontravius into custody without incident.
I ain't do nothing, man.
Jakai arrests Jamel Ganesh without any incident.
Take him away.
I was speaking to Ganesh, then fairly quickly said he didn't want to talk.
Jakai,
What's up, brother?
we've got some evidence.
Nice.
There were crucial pieces of evidence that we were able to connect back to these actors from evidence that was actually stolen from the victim's house.
Any updates from the cab? Yeah, Michael Dawson is in cuffs.
In the room he was staying at the time that he was arrested, the Louis Vuitton bag with the victim's initials were found.
What about Mahomes?
No.
He's got cold feet.
At this point, Jakai and Dave are just crazy AF. They feel like they've done everything they need to do on this case. They've got every rudimentary piece of evidence needed to keep these guys away for the rest of their lives.
As Jakai is wrapping up, he gets a phone call.
Jakai.
You need to come down here right now.
It's the detective that arrested Michael Dawson.
He's like, yo, he's talking. He's talking.
All right, I'm on my way.
Jakai's like, damn, I'm gonna get my full confession. A coordinated raid leads to the arrest of all three suspects in the Kadarius Medlock homicide investigation.
I ain't do nothing, man. Take him away.
Jakai and his team believe they have enough for a successful prosecution.
You need to come down here right now.
Michael Dawson, who Jakai believes is the getaway driver, this brother wants to talk.
I'm on my way.
Even though he's got a mountain of evidence in the case, Jakai wants more. He wants a confession.
Detectives go to the DeKalb County Police Department where Michael Dawson is being held.
Detective Dave Bokniak and another detective take the first stab at Dawson.
I want to show you some pictures, okay? All right.
Dawson admits that he knows Jamel Ganesh and Dontravius Mahomes.
You had been in Alpharetta in a burgundy vehicle?
Yeah.
He's putting himself with these guys in the car on the day of the murder in Alpharetta.
He talked about going to Lowe's.
What'd you get at Lowe's?
I think like some goggles, a vest, and what you call them?
Traffic cone?
Yeah, the traffic cone.
Where'd you guys go from there?
We met Money.
Where was that at?
That was at Publix.
He said they went to Publix instead of going to the actual home. His reason they went to Publix was because they were buying drugs from somebody named Money.
What did Money look like?
I don't know.
Who knew him?
I guess Jamil.
How much did he buy?
Probably like a quarter pound.
Dawson denies any involvement in the murder. He doesn't put himself there.
I don't know who killed him, man. I would tell you if I knew.
Right now, this is a game of total BS.
Do you know what he bought the traffic cone and that stuff for?
No.
Did you think it was weird that he was purchasing those items? I mean, he didn't mention anything about them?
No.
He basically admitted to everything that went on in Alpharetta except going to the house. But he replaced the house with the place they went to, Publix, and they dealt with a guy named Money for some kind of drug deal.
Right now, the interview's done. They take old Dawson back to Alpharetta PD and book him. At this point, Jakai decides to take a run at Dawson himself.
Although you watch TV and you know kind of bullshit lie, this here, man. That Louis bag that was in your closet, where'd you get that from? Dawson did say that was given to him from Ganesh.
Can I tell you something? The victim's initials are on the bag. Did you notice that? So you see how things are connecting to you, right?
I said, I know what you did. I know how you did it. I just don't know why you did it. I just need you, break it down to me.
I didn't pull the trigger.
Okay, so tell me about this then. What went down? What happened?
I tell you, man, this brother wanted to give it up.
I don't want them to get it on my chest.
That's what I want. Okay.
You know, but he didn't.
You know how hard it's gonna be to be in a state count with a snitch tag? Man, hell no.
He basically just said, I can't snitch because he's like, it won't serve me well when I go to jail. He wanted to talk, but he just would not.
Even though Jakai didn't get a confession or a clear motive, he's got a good idea of what went down that day.
They came to that zip code for the lick. The lick is a robbery. They probably had some kind of intel.
I believe that there was something associated with the uncle that enticed and interested these three actors.
After picking up the car and the supplies at Lowe's, they headed straight for the townhouse.
We think that they used their disguise to blend in and not bring attention to themselves.
It appears that Mahone and Ganesh are the ones that actually went into the house, and Dawson stayed in the car. They're going, we did our surveillance and nobody's supposed to be there. What if they're there? We're still going to carry out the lick, hence taking a firearm.
This kid was supposed to be working this day and wasn't doing that. As soon as they made contact with him, they immediately tied him up. They tied him up with a cord that was already in that house. So I don't think they were really prepared for him. Probably one of them were paying attention to him while the other one ransacked the house, stealing and burglarizing some items. I believe it was Mahomes who took the shots, which struck our victim, Kadarius Medlock, in the head, causing his death. And then they immediately went to the car. Our reason on why they killed this kid, again, I can't tell you. Maybe they were afraid that he saw them and that he would give them up. Or, just maybe they're just straight up, monsters.
This is the worst of the worst. We're talking about a victim, wrong place, wrong time. Their buddy, if he wasn't at home or picked up that extra work that day, he'd still be here today.
Jamel Ganesh, Dontravius Mahone, and Michael Dawson are all charged with the murder of Kadarius Medlock.
In December 2018, the Fulton County DA's office takes them to trial. They're all found guilty. And all three are sentenced to life in prison. I love the work y'all did in this case. I've never seen a file that thick.
And the DA's office actually honored us as investigators or officers of the year and gave us this award for solving this case. And it's funny, they actually put it right here, in the traffic cone in the case here for us. But
That's awesome. I love it.
Nice touch.
So it was nice to be honored for the work.
Congratulations. Well deserved.
You ready to do this?
Always.
When I look back on this case, I look at how the process was for Jakai and for his partner, Dave.
Is that your car? It's my girl's ride.
They took their time. They could have rushed in, put handcuffs on everybody before all the good evidence came in.
Looks like the cone was bought on the 21st.
They sat there with their lines in the water.
There it is.
And waited on three big fish to land up on the dock.
Police search warrant!
It was a beautiful case.
Guys, thank you so much for meeting with us, man. This case was incredible, and we really appreciate it.
Loved it.
Have a good one.
Thanks. Good to see you.
My brother.
Good to see you.